All right, today we got Quintin here from Zano, and I'm excited to chat with you guys about, what exactly Zano is, what it's delivering to a lot of the people that care about economic freedom. And as you guys might know, we just launched Zano support inside of Edge, and so excited to help educate people on the asset, the chain, what it can deliver, what makes it unique, and maybe you can give us a quick Zano intro, Quintin.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the integration with Edge Wallet as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. So Zano is a CryptoNote layer 1. It's been actually 2 days ago was the 6th birthday of Zano mainnet. So it was cool.
Sixth birthday.
Yes, 6th
Wow.
birthday already. Not many people know about it, but so some people are sometimes ask like, oh, is it new? But it's not new. It's been around for a while.
Well, for quite some time. Wow.
Yeah. And during all those years, we've been able to develop a lot of cool features. Mainly confidential assets is what makes Zano truly unique. So confidential assets are privacy tokens on the Zano blockchain, and anyone can create them as easy from within the Zano mobile wallet, for example, or Zano desktop wallet. You have a little interface, and you can just put in the name, the ticker, the supply, and
I can attest to that. I actually created a little fun token for our company and staff to just bounce around with each other.
Yeah,
and it worked very quickly, easily,
and it's very cheap too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
very inexpensive. So,
and this can be used for all kinds of exciting tokens. Like everyone's familiar with tokenization, like tokens on Ethereum, for example. So all the use cases that apply there, but of course we have the privacy on top of this token, so you don't see the asset type transacted, you don't see amounts, you don't even see the wallet addresses involved. So all you see is that a transaction happened. This can be used for privacy stablecoins. There's a few people building this on Zano right now, although this is very experimental, of course.
Right.
And bridges, like confidential layers launching soon, so you can create synthetic assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, bridge it onto the Zano blockchain to upgrade them with the privacy and security of Zano. So all kinds of cool stuff like this.
Well, I've heard about, you said confidential layer. Right. And so that bridge will allow people to take, is it basically Bitcoin, right? And actually transact it on the Zano blockchain with the full privacy that Zano already offers?
Yes, that's correct. So what happens when you do a bridge is you send your Bitcoin to a wallet, and there's no central point that has access to this wallet. The key is like distributed amongst all the all the nodes. Everyone has a little part of that key. So it's like a federated system, so to say, or some people would even say decentralized.
Yeah.
And then what happens when it receives let's say you bridge 1 Bitcoin, it mints 1 synthetic Bitcoin, like a wrapped version on the Zano blockchain, and then you can do anything with it, trade it on the Zano DEX, or bridge it to another blockchain, or swap it to another asset, which is really cool.
Well, it is really cool. We have been paying people at Edge and Bitcoin since day one. This is now approaching 11 years of paying people in Bitcoin. But it does come up with the question of like, well, what privacy am I giving up? We obviously see all of our staff's Bitcoin address. We send money to those addresses, and in theory, we know when the money moves, how much of it moves. Now, we may not know where it goes unless we did full IP address, not IP address, but public address analysis. But it has been a concern. And so do you see or know of companies leveraging or wanting to leverage this type of technology to be able to pay staff for the focus of kind of that increased privacy to at least the level that we expect from when I receive a paycheck from a company, they don't know where to spend it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zano is quite upcoming right now, so we're still missing a few key infrastructure things like a fiat on-off ramp or payment gateways, but we're getting integrated into those as well. And there's actually a number of e-commerce websites, pretty big ones too, that are willing to accept Zano, or even better, privacy stablecoin that will be even more convenient for their e-commerce websites, because it just protects their customers as well.
No, it does. When you'd mentioned you guys have been around for 6 years, what brought about the creation of Zano? What motivated its creation? Who were some of the original members that, if not yourself, what were some of the original members that came together, and what brought this entire project together from the viewpoint of, there were already privacy coins to begin with. So obviously there was some type of motivation to put together Zano. What was that?
Yeah, we go a while back when it all started at the very start. So the previous project, like the project came before Zano, was Bullberry, which was created in, I believe, 2014. I think it was one of the very first privacy coins at that time. And then in 2019, Zano was created, and basically, you could say it was like a rebranding, kind of, but it was an entirely new chain.
But similar code and tech.
Yes, the same code base, and we developed on that code base. And at first, Bullberry and Zano started as, you could say, maybe a bit of a Monero competitor, like a privacy coin for peer-to-peer digital private transactions. But then later on, I believe it was Val, our lead researcher. I believe it was Pavel's idea, which is our co-founder. And then Val took that idea and researched it, and he created this confidential assets technology. So this was back in 2020. This is when the research started. And in 2021, the first experimental paper was published. And then last year, the Zarkon hard fork happened, which introduced the confidential assets.
Oh, I see. And the assets are relatively new to Zano.
Yeah. And this basically changed Zano from like being just a privacy coin to a privacy multiverse ecosystem where you can launch your own assets. So it wasn't the idea from the very start, but it just happened over all those years.
So for people that might have caught what you said at the very beginning, you mentioned that Zano is a CryptoNote privacy-based blockchain. CryptoNote obviously is the technology that underpins Monero. And I know in prior discussions with you guys get the question a lot, like, is it a quote-unquote fork of Monero?
Right.
And I know there's a much better story than it being a fork of Monero. So
yes.
maybe you should...
That's what you're after.
Let's definitely let's make sure the audience knows what the thinking behind that is.
Yeah, so Andre, which is our core developer and also co-founder, he developed the CryptoNote code base together with Nicholas from Saberhagen, created the idea, the protocol, the paper. And then he took that idea and worked with Nicholas to create the first ever working CryptoNote code base, which at that time was Bytecoin.
Right.
And then Monero essentially took that CryptoNote code base and launched Monero, BitMonero, actually.
At the time, right?
Yes.
It goes to a rebrand.
And that's how CryptoNote came into existence. So it's thanks to him. He's always very humble about it. He doesn't like to talk about it himself, but that's the story. So no, Zano is not a fork from Monero. It's a own iteration of the CryptoNote protocol, and much credit can be given to Andre for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing how some of the stories come about where people don't realize kind of the origin story of some of the technology that they may have been using day in and day out. So it sounds like, if anything, Monero is closer to being a fork of what kind of originally created Zano.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very careful saying that. I mean, it's been a decade, and then both code bases have been developed in a different way, and they both evolved in completely different ways. There's very little overlap between Monero CryptoNote code base and Zano's CryptoNote code base. But in essence, like the privacy tech that we both use is still kind of the same.
You said 2014, so that's almost 11 years ago, pretty much when we had started our company.
Yeah, I got involved with Zano only in 2021. So
right, so it's been around a while, and so I can attest as a developer that almost nothing is the same 10, 11 years later. It definitely diverges. Now, the privacy ecosystem is, they have looked at tokens, assets on top of a privacy layer. I know the Zcash ecosystem has looked at that, and hasn't really pushed forward with it. So you guys are almost like the first to market in this sense, especially from a viewpoint of being bringing awareness to a lot of people of this functionality. But on the flip side, a lot of the other privacy chains are looking at enhancing the technology for privacy. I know Zcash had their Halo upgrades to eliminate, at least for the ZK snarks, the trusted setup. And I know Monero is looking at full chain membership proofs. I'm not sure whether or not Zano in the many years has already integrated similar technology or is looking at doing something like that. Is there anything on the roadmap that brings Zano akin to some of the things you see in other privacy chains as far as what they're looking at going forward?
Yeah, I mean, Zano is, like I said earlier, same privacy features as Monero. So ring signature based on ring signature, 16 rings, same as Monero. But we are also looking into full chain membership proofs, of course. But I must say, we're a bit dependent on the research and development of Luke Parker.
Okay.
You know, he's the mastermind behind this, developing that. So we're we're very curious about it and following it closely.
Mhm.
And whenever we have the chance, we'll definitely integrate full chain membership proofs if our code base can do that. Our lead researcher Val is looking into that right now because it becomes more sophisticated on our code base than on Monero's because of those confidential assets.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a bit harder to integrate, but it should be doable.
All right. So you got sharp people on the team, obviously.
Yeah.
So if anyone can do it, you guys can do it. You had mentioned a little bit about growing the ecosystems. A lot of people in the privacy world, especially like people that support Monero and Zcash, they seem to be the people in crypto that really want to use crypto, in my experience. And maybe that's the reason why I fit in that group. I from day one, as soon as I bought my first Bitcoin in 2013, I wanted to spend it and use it and onboard merchants. And so, what are the use cases right now for Zano? Because I know there are a few products that people can acquire with Zano, and possibly in the future the tokens. Which ones are you aware of that we can share, and hopefully people can go and use it today?
Yeah, so it's a good question. We've only been talking about confidential assets so far in privacy, but there's a lot more interesting features that are on top of Zano right now. Escrow contracts, which was reformed into escrow trades, like rebranded into escrow trades later on. We're going to reactivate, that was deactivated during the Zarkum hard fork. Okay. To make things a bit easier, but we're bringing that back right now, which essentially takes out the middleman. So you can like create a trade, a contract where you both put up like collateral and lock it in this contract and do a trade. So it takes out the middleman, which is pretty cool. We have a feature called Auditable wallets, which is a special type of wallet that you can create and start with an A instead of a Z.
Okay.
And then you have this tracking key, and you can share that around with people. And it's for situations where you rather verify than trust someone. So, for example, we use it ourselves for dev fund, where we keep the Zano dev fund. And people can just see this balance and the incoming transactions and outgoing transactions.
Okay, so it makes it almost a fully public address.
Yes, and it doesn't it doesn't affect the privacy of the address of the chain.
Right. So someone else who donates to this address doesn't expose their address or their balance.
Yeah.
Would you say that's akin to a full power view key? Kind of in Monero, there's
it takes it a little step further.
It takes it much further, right? Being able to see all incoming, outgoing, and amounts and balances.
Yeah,
far more than a view key. So I can see definitely a huge benefit to that. I like how Zano took the stance that everything is private by default, right? But you can't expose a key. Yeah, and I think a lot of people in building privacy chains take the opposite, where you say, no, it's transparent by default, but you can then use private view, which I fundamentally think is
you get weak privacy.
Yeah, weak privacy and few people using privacy.
Yeah.
So it's an important piece that, good decision you guys made, but also making it easy for people to expose and return addresses public if they need to. Very cool. And that's, you said, a live feature. So coming up.
Yeah, no, it's been live since I believe 2020 already. It's been for many years.
Okay.
So yes, and the list goes on. Like we also have Zano Trade, which is our own decentralized exchange where you can swap the confidential assets with Zano and swap them with each other.
Built-in atomic swap DEX.
Yeah, it's atomically based DEX. It's called Ionic swaps, which is an improvement of atomic swaps. This may be a bit over my head. It's very technical. I believe atomic swap initially required 4 transactions, and an Ionic swap is just puts it only 1 or 2. So it's a big improvement there, so that the other party cannot like you get an advantage with an atomic trade, right? For example, when it expires after 24 hours, the other party has to accept it. Let's say the price changes of an asset, then this counterparty can, if the price changes in the beneficial direction, he can take profit
back out.
Or back out.
That. Really, you want those type of trades to happen as fast as possible. And you're right. When there's a lot of chatter necessary, if someone's offline, they have to come back online. There's a higher chance that they don't want to do that trade anymore. Yeah, right. So making trades as fast as possible is key. And people talk about settlement times and exchanges, and that is an important piece. But atomic swaps are definitely challenging. I'm glad you guys improved on that. Cool. So if people are looking for other ways to learn about Zano and things that are up and coming, what are the best resources for them to find out, stay up to date with everything and everything and anything going on in Zano?
Yeah, so I would recommend people to go to intro.zano.org, which is like a landing page for people that are completely new to Zano. So I have like a 3-minute video, explainer video there, and some links to like our blog and the documentation and all the good stuff, what you're looking at for when you're new to a project. So I would recommend to go there.
Intro.zano.org. Cool.
We also have links.zano.org, which is on Linktree. We're very active on X, on Discord, on Telegram, on Reddit. So if you're on any of those platforms, we'll always cross post. So we'll just follow one and then we'll be up to date. We also have Zano Matrix Messenger, works with Zano aliases. We haven't even been able to talk about that.
That's right.
It's like essentially like an NFT on the Zano blockchain, which is your username.
Got it.
So you could, I could just send you Zano or any confidential asset to @Paul instead of that long blockchain address.
Right. And especially with privacy coin, that address is very long.
Yes. Yes, very long. You won't be able to remember it.
Yeah.
So this is very convenient. And then you can use your alias to log into the Zano Matrix server, which is very cool. So that like, it just makes use of Matrix, which is a very private messenger. But then you verify yourself via your Zano alias. So we have this chat room with all the, let's say, the core community members, the hardcore Zanons. Technical discussions happen there, interesting discussions, no spam, no bots. So it's a nice place on learning about Zano as well.
Cool. All right. So for everyone listening, links.zano.org, as well as intro.zano.org.
Yeah.
And of course, you said you mentioned you're on social media. Is it just @Zano at most locations, Twitter?
Yeah, on X, it's @Zano_project.
Zano_project.
Yep. And Discord is just discord.gg/Zano.
Cool. All right. Well, definitely check out all the different resources, everyone. So learn a little bit more about Zano. Check it out. Get some, bounce it around to your friends and experience like really, really strong privacy for not just the mainnet asset, but also some of the tokens that are launched and will be launching. Cool. All right. Thanks so much for the time.
Yes, likewise. Thank you very much, Paul.